Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Let's talk SL55, the wonderful Mercedes, and let's talk battery control modules, or BCMs. I've spoken about this topic before on previous videos, and what can happen? Well, if the BCM fails, it can be quite catastrophic, in that your Mercedes could go up in smoke, which is not really what anyone wants, or at least that back quarter can be pretty severely damaged. Now, this video is not going to be me replacing one of these, even though we're going to do that. My recommendation is, if you want to find out about this, there is a brilliant video that has been put together just recently, just about a month ago, by a guy called Mike, who runs a channel called Mikes Mercs and Other Cars. I think I will put a link to that video in the description. If you want to know all about it, follow that video, watch that video. That deserves all the views. It is a fantastic video, and the video that I've used to get a flavour of what you need to do in order to replace this module. Now, I do have to note, when he got his original BCM out and looked at it under the hood, it was in perfect condition. And the BCM we get out of this car could be in perfect condition as well. Or there might be no BCM there. We've never had a look under that boot lining. But if there is a BCM there, it'd be great to see what it's like. Or we could take the boot lining out there and find out that there is some kind of botch job repair, which you've seen on some other SL55s. Now, this is a replacement module that goes in place OEM of that OEM module, plug and play, factory fitment, so everything should line up. Now, I'm going to go about doing this. I've got the access hatch here, so we have to cut the boot liner and put this, use this as a template, and fit this as an access hatch, so we've got visibility of the battery readout here. Now, the challenge is I want to fit this first and see if I can fit the BCM just through the hole that is made for this access hatch. Now, it doesn't look easy. Access to these top bolts here are not ideal. Looking at Mike's video that he put together, he used a swivel socket to get access to it. I don't necessarily know if I've got the right tools. I don't think I do. So we might have to fart about a little bit to try and get it in the right place through this hole. If it is proving a struggle, I will have to take the boot lining out. So it could be a bit of a palaver, unfortunately. But do we need to do this? That is the question. Well, we might not. We might not need to do this at all. The BCM could be in perfect condition. It could have many, many years left in it. It's really strange knowing what causes these things to fail. Some folks like capacitors. Obviously, they don't like getting wet. Some boots leak, get wet. There's condensation inside. That really plays havoc with the PCB. But we could find that our BCM is absolutely fine. This is kept generally very dry, and the boot is dry, so it could be in pretty good condition. But it is something that is probably worth doing. BCMs are hard to find these days. They're very expensive. And it's just nice, I think, to get this in place and know that it is something that we no longer have to worry about. And equally, you do get a really cool little voltage readout here as to what your consumer battery and your starter battery are doing. So to me, it makes sense to just move ahead and do this. We want to look after this car as best we can. So in terms of this video, I'll get to the end of the installation process and tell you the process that worked for me. But those videos, there's two videos on Mike's channel, one for the installation of this and one for the installation of this. I suggest you watch those. He's gone into awesome detail. Mike, if you're watching, thank you very much for this. These videos, they're a fantastic resource. And yeah, we will see how it goes. And there we have it. Anyway, this module is an original module. It would have been in there since 2003. And look, the date, I'm not sure if that's a manufactured date, 3rd of the 7th, 03. So yes, it's a pretty old module, but it looks like it's probably in quite good condition. I reckon when we get this open up, it's going to be all right. I just have a hunch. So that is it. We have it installed. It was a piece of cake. Really easy to just cut round here using a Stanley knife. But as Mike said in his video, if I pop this off here, look how easy that is. You have to be so careful down here. So you need to be putting a bit of plastic or metal behind here once you've got access. So work from the top down around here, and then definitely protect here, because if you go through any of these wires with one of these blades, you're going to be in a whole world of pain. Another method here, which is a bit of a hack, is to get a really tiny ratchet, because you can get it up behind this bit of trim here. So that works pretty well. One thing I don't recall seeing on Mike's video is access to the cigarette lighter here. Obviously he did all this, but I'm not sure if he removed this one T15 nut here, because by doing that you can pull all this out and get really good access to the back there, so that's a winner. Right, moment of truth, let's take the lid off. I think this is going to be a good BCM. I just have a feeling that it's going to be in good condition. Alright, let's get a light on that, have a look around, and yeah, this BCM looks like it's absolutely pristine, I think. Maybe some, no corrosion there, looks like flux maybe. Yeah, this BCM is in perfect condition, which is kind of good really, because we have a backup should we need one. Yeah, so I wonder if it was only specific batches of BCMs that had a nightmare, right? Or BCMs that have just gotten wet inside. Because that's not a specifically airtight seal. I think you get moisture in around this rim here. It's not a rubber seal. There's no gasket in there. So, yeah, maybe it's just ones that have gotten wet as well and corroded. Nice and dry, this one, though. Really good condition. Really pleased about that. So we've got a backup. It's also crazy to think that this PCB here is 23 years old. Who else runs electronic equipment that is 23 years old? Would you run a PC that's 23 years old? How about a hi-fi TV? I just doubt it. So to see this longevity in a device like this is very, very impressive and good for the car. So the unit's installed, and we get a really cool readout of the voltage of both the consumer battery and the starter battery when we turn on the ignition. And this is one of the real advantages of this unit over the old BCM. And it's pretty neat and tidy once this blanking panel is put in place. I think it's a really nice, elegant solution. It is fiddly, and I'm going to sum up the process for me now. One last bit of advice. Put a desiccant bag or dehumidifier bag in the boot of these cars. Keep one in there at all times. It really will help. We are done. The car is running, and both those meters are showing just over 14 volts. So both the consumer and starter battery are charging, which is brilliant. That is one of the great things about this platform. You can see the battery voltages. It's very handy. You get that not with the LBCM, but with this new model. So it's very good. And of course, we have taken all the risk out of the car now. It's not going to catch fire, and we're not going to have a BCM failure, so it's peace of mind as well. Would I recommend doing this job? So, as you know, when we got the BCM out and had a look at it, it is in absolutely pristine condition. I think looking at it, it's probably going to go on for another 10 years easily, that BCM. I think BCMs that fail, they have water ingress. I think that seems to be one of the biggest culprits of failure, right? If you get water into the boot and then condensation in the boot, there's no airtight seal on that BCM. There's no rubber gasket or grommet to sort of keep the water out. So water vapor can get in, and if it condenses on the inside of that BCM, I think that's when you're in trouble, and I think that's what we could be seeing here. If your car's kept bone dry, then I think you really do reduce the risk. I'd love to hear in the comments, has your car been in the dry all the time but still had a BCM failure? It would be great to know, to dig into this, because it is quite a widespread issue, but I think water seems to be the real enemy of this. So would I recommend doing this? Okay, so yeah, it is a fiddly process, and I did split some of my plastic trim, that rear piece of trim that sits just by the boot. So a tiny little split on that now. You've got to be a little bit aggressive. It is a very fiddly job, lots of routing of that blue cable around to that cigarette feed, that 12-volt cigarette lighter feed. And also, yes, I did cut through one of the cables when cutting out the hole for the access hatch. Luckily, it was just a single pair cable. This car is loaded with micro switches in the rear boot. I started the car up and I had a hard top open error. Well, not an error, but a warning. So even though the hard top was closed, it thought it was open, and I thought, oh no, what has happened here? And yeah, I cut through one of those pairs on one of those micro switches that registers that the hard top is actually closed. So that switch was open, it was sending an open signal back, so it assumed that the hard top was still open and you could continue closing it. So not a massive issue, and I could repair it quite easily by splicing that cable, but you have to be so careful when cutting out that rear access hatch. There's so many quite sensitive cables there. That loom is what is destroyed in the event of a fire, and it's pretty much, the car's written off then, I think, because there's so much complex wiring around there. So just be super careful. Even though I started from the top down, there was a cable that had kind of worked its way around the side of that hatch, and it was kind of where it wouldn't or shouldn't be. So you just have to really get access to the top of that cut first, peel it back and look in there to see if there's anything in the way. Move your arm, move your hand, get your hand in there, move the cables out of the way if there is anything there. So it is a fiddly job, but it's done now, it's dusted, we've got that access hatch in place. So my recommendation to you would be, I think if you have the original BCM, by the way, both my hunches were right. Yes, we had a BCM, and yes, the BCM was in perfect condition. If you've got one of these cars, my recommendation to you is get that access hatch installed. I think that's something you need to do, and do that, and then just inspect your current BCM, right? Just inspect your current BCM. That's what the access hatch is for. It allows you to undo the top of the BCM. Don't drop the screws down the bottom. Just be very careful with that. It allows you to inspect your BCM and check for any issues with that BCM. Get the top off, have a look at it. If it looks perfect, if it looks like it's in perfect condition, then I'd be more aligned to the camp of just leave it as is. If your BCM looks good, it's unlikely that it's going to have a catastrophic failure. If, of course, you get the top off and it is starting to corrode, or you're seeing any issues there, then yeah, perfect candidate for replacement. But equally, if you do want complete peace of mind and you want that battery readout, which is really handy, especially for a car that you don't use every day, then that new model from the SL guys is definitely the way to go. So that is my take on it. Definitely, you must get the access hatch installed. I think it's a job that needs doing, to get the top of your BCM and have a look at it. And then you can make your decision from there as to what you want to do. But yeah, it's done. It's a little bit fiddly, but it is a great product. These guys have absolutely knocked it out of the park with that one. That's it for this one. Do stay safe, still. See you in the next one, and bye for now.